But do you think that Code's character, as of right now, as currently stand, is a disappointment?
That's a good question, man. That's a good question. I don't think he's a disappointment, man. I honestly I don't.
Hmm.
I feel more so like I don't know. He represents like the average person, man. You don't really know where you're going in life, man. You're still trying to figure this out for yourself. You're new to being the head dog, the head villain, so you're gonna make mistakes along the way. Similar to like us in life, we make mistakes. We're
Right.
trying to get, the older we get, the wiser we become. And he's still pretty young, so for him to make mistakes like this as a new villain, it's understandable. He was never the main villain. He was always like, I guess, a sidekick, and then he's just put in this big role as a major villain. So he doesn't really know what to do. He hasn't been a sidekick long enough to see everything that Ashiki done, you know.
Yeah,
So I don't know. That's just my
fact.
way of looking at it.
Yeah, fact. In my personal opinion, I've always said I think that he's. Well, first things first, I think he's done some disappointing things, but I personally think that the character of Code has a lot of room to actually grow. And again, people always, especially Mello, at first he was essentially saying that Cole doesn't really have a backstory. He takes L's a lot. I personally believe that this right here might actually be his backstory. This right here might actually be like not necessarily his origin stories, but some of the things and some of the trials and tribulations that he's actually going through to actually build the character or build his character for in the future when he actually does become the villain that we all think that he possibly can be. I think that eventually he's probably going to be a very good villain. Again, we kind of talk about it sometimes. We kind of make the comparison. I know you kind of talk about My Hero Academia as well. We make the comparison to Shigaraki a lot, where Shigaraki at first, of course, wasn't necessarily like the big bad villain, but eventually, he has potential. You see the potential
He
there.
was kind of placed into that
Yo,
role, kind of how Cold was too as well.
that's a perfect example, man. I didn't even look at it that way. Yeah, when we first got introduced to Shigaraki, I was thinking like, yo, this guy sucks as a villain, and now I'm like, yo, this guy's amazing. So yeah, I like that. I like that you pointed that out, man. And I definitely could see. I don't know, man. I just picture this when it comes to Code. With as many L's as he's taken, imagine how big he's going to be when he gets that first dub.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they're just trying to
true,
build us up
true.
to that.
1000%, and big shout out to my guy Juju, Cole to his guy. But again, yeah,
I know.
fact.
I was like, Juju probably raving right now.
Yeah, facts. Again, I personally believe he's done some disappointing things, but I think in the future he's probably going to come back. I don't think that he's been an overall disappointment. Again, yes, he's taken a bunch of L's, a bunch of hilarious L's. I think eventually he's gonna tighten up as a character. I can't wait to see it, to be honest.
I can't wait to see it either. I really think that like Nero, he made like great points as far as like Cold. Like he made points that I haven't really even heard nobody say. Like like just comparing him to the average human and stuff like that. Like making mistakes along the way. And if we do
Hmm.
kind of compare him to Shigaraki, Shigaraki was thrown into the role as a villain, just like Cole was thrown in the role as a villain. He wasn't the main villain. He was following behind somebody, and that somebody he was following behind got taken away as of like how
I'm
Cole
back.
his oh for sure like Cole like the main character that he was following got killed. So like the comparison is well deserved, I think, in my opinion.
I feel like we might get to a point where Momoshiki returns
No,
good.
not you too.
I mean, it just
Yeah.
feels like that because he feels like Karama right now. Like the way he's just talking so much trash, but at the same time, that little part that we get in the beginning of the series with Boruto and Kawaki about to fight, it makes me wonder if maybe Momoshiki was in charge of Boruto's body at that moment because you know how he can take control now whenever he, I guess, tries hard enough.
I mean, he said something about his mind has a crack or something like that.
I mean, I'm thinking the same, like, or maybe even Kawaki. He might be Amado at that point in the
I
series.
like
You
that.
know,
Oh
I
my
think that too. I think
goodness.
one of them is not themselves. I think Boruto has to be himself though, because he like the way he's talking.
I kind of think they're both themselves because personality wise, like they both match. Like Boruto is like Kawaki. I didn't necessarily think that you would do this. Maybe Boruto just doesn't know that Kawaki got taken over, but Kawaki didn't necessarily respond like he wasn't Kawaki. Like he was
Yeah, he
like,
still
yeah, but
acknowledged
it's
Naruto and
possible.
everything. So I don't know.
Hmm.
I mean, he ain't really acknowledged him. He just said, "I'm gonna send you the way of the seven."
True.
Makes me wonder what happens to Naruto and when is it going to actually happen.
Yeah, we've been talking about that for nauseam. Yo, to be honest, I personally, I've always said that I think that they're probably going to seal Naruto in a different dimension. Kawaki essentially is probably going to do the same thing that Jigen tried to do back in like what Boruto episode, I think 200 and 201 was it? No. Something along the lines of that.
Yeah.
I forgot the episode numbers, but
We know.
yeah, I think that's probably what's going to be. I think it's even more telling because Jigen literally trained Kawaki. So, and again, Naruto doesn't have any time space and jutsu abilities. So it's like you really seal him into a different dimension where no one can really get to. Naruto is stuck.
And you know, the crazy thing is when that happened in the manga, how many of y'all thought that that was actually the fate of Naruto? Like that he wasn't going to be saved by Sadara and Boruto and them.
I
When
thought
that,
that was that.
I thought that.
yeah,
I thought it was
yeah,
GG's.
I thought it was done. Yeah, I was like, oh man, so they didn't kill him, but they got rid of him out the series now.
Bro, I
Mhm.
remember where I was when I read that chapter. Like that's how elite that chapter was. Yeah, so definitely. I think a lot of people thought that too. That's what it was going to lead into the time skip.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just feel like
honestly,
it was done so well. I was like, yo, dang, they tricked the hell out of everybody.
to be honest, at that particular point, I think power wise, that was probably like one of the like the best or one of like the oldest time or like the more normal type of situations. Now it's like Boruto's like god level, Kawaki's god level, damn near everybody's god level. I think if they had started the time skip right then and there, it would have been a lot more simpler going into the time skip. But I have no complaints about what they're doing right now because of course Kawaki's the big dog. Let's be honest.
So what do y'all think about Damien?
I love Damon.
Yeah,
I just love the way he stomped out Cold, bro. Like his character, the way they make him like a snotty kid, but he just super strong. He kind of remind me of Mega Man. I don't know why.
The character, like
Just
the
the way he
game
looked,
character?
like he just reminds me. I'm not talking about like his character or anything like that. Just like when I see Damon, I think of Mega Man for whatever reason.
That's how I
That's
am when
old
I used
school.
to see when I used to see Bakugo. I used to think of Zero from Mega Man.
Mm-hmm.
Who you think gonna be able to defeat him?
I think he part of the good guys, man.
I
I don't
said
think he's
Cole
gonna
got to
be.
get his get back, bro.
I don't think he's gonna beat him.
Nah.
Matter of fact, I can't say that, man, because if Cold actually does get stronger, they do have to have him beat somebody, and of course, a very good character for him to beat would be Damon because we already know that he's probably stronger than Boruto and Kawaki. So for Cold to like establish his dominance, that would probably be like the best time, and it matches in with the storyline as well because of course he's fighting to be the Knight of Ida.
Mm.
I don't know. Damien stomped the shit out of him. Like I
Oh
felt
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I wanted like after I read that chapter, I wanted to give him a hug. Like I was just like, yo, shit.
Damn.
I know
Facts,
Cole's one of the bad guys, but I ain't expecting him to go out like that.
Did you expect him to
Fact.
like already like have a plan like in place, or did you like expect it to like lead on to a different storyline?
Far as Code
Yeah,
or
for us
Damien.
cold, for us cold, because like I didn't expect it. Like I thought like we was gonna have like a loser's conquest for Cold real quick, but he came back like he's like not worried about what happened. He's not worried about Damon. He's not worried about pretty much Kawaki, anybody. He seems pretty
What?
confident in his plan.
Well, see, I don't know. I mean, it could be a plan that Ashiki actually had in store for himself to
Okay.
actually do in case he had ran into any type of trouble without him actually dying. Like him not seeing him dying as as the result, or maybe just being defeated. Like that could have been his backup plan. And I feel like he may have told Code that because Code is one of his most trusted and loyal followers. So that's why I was thinking like it may be all part of his plan, and at some
And that
point he's
made
gonna
sense
say,
too, because Cole was like the one that was keeping eye on the Ten Tails the whole time.
yeah, because when you think about it, even though Shiki is gone, like one of Code's biggest motivations is the fact that the person he cared for the most is gone,
Hmm.
and so everything he does is more so to avenge Shiki as opposed to like avenging himself.